if that's not who you are, then you have to have somebody who is capable of that, at least in those lines of communication. You know, making sure that I'm at least knowing, all right, this is what we intend to do. Plans might change, you know, and that's okay for plans to change. Just let me know. You
just gotta know. That's what I tell the kids, man. Not my oldest one, but the other, I got two 18-year-olds. Mm-hmm. So the youngest 18-year-old, we constantly got to tell him we went to Florida. He went to roam the beach by himself. All right. You know, at the time, he just turned 18. That's cool. You're 18. But I need you to remember, always let somebody know where you're at. Mm-hmm. You know, something happens, at least one of us knows where you're at.
Facts.
Does he do that? Not at all.
Of course not.
So he walks away, and you know, he's very social. He can communicate. He could probably sell ice to an Eskimo, you know?
Yeah.
And so he goes and he links up with these friends, friends he just met, and we're at the beach. So, I got this board. We're out here doing the hoverboard. We're doing this, that, and the beach, but we're ready to leave. We can't find him.
Right.
He's the 18-year-old that doesn't care about his phone. So it's either off.
Do not disturb.
Do not disturb.
Yeah.
So there's no getting a hold of him.
Yeah.
So now we gotta like walk up and down the beach for about 45 minutes till someone finds him.
Yeah.
And he's hanging out with this. It's like, man, communicate. Son.
Yes.
Communicate.
Welcome to the Classic Man Podcast. I'm Justin Kashmirchik, also known as the Jump Cut King. And before we dive into today's episode, a quick word. First off, if this is your first time tuning in, hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, and drop a link. And if any of this resonates with you, support it. It costs nothing and means everything. You can catch Classic Man on all major podcast platforms, so head over to classicmanpodcast.com after the show for guest info, all the links, bonus content, and maybe support the team. Buy him a cup of coffee. Secondly, beyond being a friend and brother to these guys featured on this podcast, I also launched a business that might just change the way you think about web design. It's called the EGT Universe, and you can find out all about it at egtuniverse.com. And to get on the ground floor when we launch the public service, you can join the newsletter and get in on a whole new way to build your brand online. No more Squarespace, no more WordPress, just a sleek, high-end luxury web experience without the price tag of a Fortune 500. And if you or someone you know is launching something or operates a brand, a nonprofit, a business, and they need a digital facelift, my marketing company can help them. We've already started serving startups, creatives, and even big organizations. It's a real impact. Go to egtuniverse.com and drop me a line. But for now, turn it up, tune in, really focus. Let's get into today's content.
It's like, man, communicate. Son.
Yes.
Communicate, please.
Especially in that situation where, I mean, you're in the water, so anything can happen there. And then you're also in Florida. You can be in Cuba or in Mexico.
Hours.
Literally. And nobody's looking for you.
Nobody's going to look for you. It's like we can go to Cuba and get you.
Exactly. Like, it's one thing, all right, at least in the States, I'm not saying, you know what I mean, that we can find everybody, but it takes a long time to get you from Toledo out of the States going south.
I mean, at least with a couple of vets, we can kind of put our heads together, fix the States, and
literally,
we know a few people. We can probably put a team together.
That's, man, number one. I got a whole squad. If anything pops off, you know, between Ohio, Indiana, and Pennsylvania, you know, we got a rally spot. I got to get you in on this so you know where to go. You know, take the fam. And we understand, all right, you got this many personnel, you got this many properties that one of my boys, who's the Marine, his dad owns, but it's in the middle of nowhere. So if you're not one of us and you out here because things hit the fan, we already know. Exactly. Like, the only people who should be in this area are those of us invited.
Right.
You know, so we got all of that laid out. Or like you said, if we need to go get you, you know.
We know where you're at.
Exactly. And that's kind of how we roll in things like the domestic violence. Like, I'm not losing another friend or family member to it.
Right.
So I already know I'm hitting that line.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, especially for us as soldiers, our mind automatically goes to defending.
Yeah.
You know, that is our main job. Our main job as a soldiers, we're going to defend the country.
Yeah.
So if I see someone being bullied, if I see a kid being bullied, if I see a girl being picked on, the first thing I'm going to naturally want to do is go to that person's defense.
Literally. So I had this woman at the gas station in Detroit, and I thought this was crazy because I felt like I looked approachable, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, she's trying to put stuff in her air in her tires and this or that. It's dark out. There's a Dodge Challenger that had been sitting at this pump. Dude never pumped gas and go in the store or anything. Sitting there for like 15, 20 minutes. You know, I'm just sitting there chopping it up with I'm just watching everything kind of unfold. Went inside, got me an energy drink for my drive home. And I'm like, let me put this air in your tire. She's like, I know how to do it. I didn't question whether you knew how to do it or not.
Right.
You know? Like, is chivalry so dead? Right? Is being a man so far out of being a man nowadays that I can't put some air in your tire and you sit in the car and you not assume I'm trying to flirt with you or cause you harm or cause you problems.
Yeah.
And you're not even aware of the person who's actually sitting there been watching you this whole time. Right? You worried about the one actually trying to help you and defend you. I'm like, just get in your car. Keep your car running. Be ready to drive off. I'm going to make sure you get some air in your tire. After she pulls off, you know, he finally gets out of the car, pumps his gas, and does everything. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was appalling that I had to tell her 3 or 4 times. Like, I didn't take no from it as an answer from her. I said, get in your car. I'm going to put this air in your tire. Get in your car. I'm going to put this air in your tire. Yeah. And I'm like, no, you're not listening to me. All right. Like, this is what's going to happen.
Listening to react.
Yeah. You are going to get in this car and I'm going to put this air in your tire. And I did that, and she finally, you know, drove off and saw, like, yo, I'm like, look, that's my mother right there. That's my brother over at my car right there. I noticed this dude's been sitting here for a while. After, like, I put the air in her tire and everything like that, I'm like, I just need you to keep your head on the swivel. Obviously, you can control when your tire pressure gets low and where you at, you know, but you got to pay attention to who, because I had been talking to my mother the whole time. My mother came over, hey, yeah, everything's cool, like, blah, blah, blah. He don't need nothing from you, you know? This is just the way I raised him.
Right.
But it's just so sad that we're kind of at that point now where you can't even recognize the good from the bad or the people who will actually have your back from the people who will harm you. But there was no way that I, as a person, could sit there and let her put her own air in her tire and I just pumped the gas, oblivious, not paying attention, not looking to defend or protect in that type of a situation. And one of the second or third worst spots in the city of Detroit.
Yeah. You know what? You say that. It reminds me about 3 weeks ago. I'm talking to the youngest. We're outside. I say hi to the neighbors. I say their name. Keep on meaning to grab his number. Yeah. And she's like, well, why do you need the neighbor's number? And I'm like, well, what if they're away on vacation? Something happens to their house. What if someone breaks into their house? You know, what if we're gone? Something happens to our house. You know, and she's like, well, I never thought that you needed to know your neighbors like that. And that's sad. That's sad because I guarantee, being that I love living in the city, but now I live in a small community. In the city, I really didn't know many neighbors. And I didn't think to get anybody's number. But out here, when I first moved here, the neighbor next door, he comes over, introduced himself. Hey, this is my number. This is my name. Anything ever happens, give me a call. And I thought, man, dude, that's so wise. And, you know, of course, he's an older gentleman, so it's a different generation to where they thought like that quite a bit. And my father still thinks like that. But I didn't realize until he did that, man, more men probably should know who's living next door to you.
Man. So I had that where my dog, one of my dogs, he loves to run away. He loves to take off. If he can get off the leash, he's going to do it. He learned how to open the window. He learned how to open the door. And he legit would just be gone. And so one of my neighbors on the other side, they have 2 dogs. And he would go and mess with them. And so when the neighbor would call him in the house, he would come in. So I'm like, cool. So sometime that's how I ended up getting his information, getting his number, yada, yada, yada. Cool. I went to walk him late at night one time. We're walking, it's like midnight, 1 a.m. on the suburb of Philly. We're walking. We come around the corner. That neighbor had a car parked on the street. They had like some family over, so they had 3 or 4 cars in the driveway and 2 cars on the street. This was the further one up. Dude's legit. He wiggled the handle and then was winding his elbow up to bust the window out. Me and my dog happened to come around. I heard the handle jiggle first. And then as we come around and my dog barks at him, row, row, row. And I look up and I see him. He looks at me, turns, runs away. And I'm like, all right, interesting. Now, I was able to go have a conversation with that neighbor.
Right.
Cool. Boom. Went and got a couple other neighbors, called one of the guys from the church who lived on the other side of the neighborhood, and had 2 people out on bikes, 2 people out on their cars, just out patrolling, looking for him, waiting for the police. The police got there a half hour later.
Oh, in the city, they'd be lucky if they were 45 minutes.
Exactly. So police wasn't going to catch him. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, well, you know, got this information, yada, yada, had these conversations. But it's like, how would that have been if I didn't know him, if I didn't talk to him?
And you know, you said Philly. That reminded me. Didn't you guys have like it wouldn't who was it, Boston? You guys were near Boston, right?
Yeah.
And isn't that when they had the marathon there, the attacks, man? Yeah. Thank God for the neighbors, because I think that's who really found the guy.
Right.
Was the neighbors noticed something on the guy's boat? Yeah. That was out of whack. Mm-hmm. You know, I think the cops walked past it a few times, didn't they?
Right, and they would never
even noticed it.
Yeah.
But the neighbor, thank God they had a good neighbor, because you had a terrorist laying in your boat, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
That is actually insane. I didn't even think about that aspect of it. Where, I mean, the people who kind of should know you best, but I think that goes back to the insecurities and issues that we have where it's hard to trust people.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how much do I allow you to know about me? Because what are you going to do towards my family? What are you going to do towards my kids? Can I trust you near my wife? Those types of situations where just because you happen to live next door to me doesn't make you a good person.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't even know that you're a little bit off if I don't talk to you. Mm-hmm.
You know, hopefully, not only do you have communication, but hopefully you know the Lord and you have a little bit of discernment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
So you can sense them things out when something's not right.
And that's one thing that I don't know that other people pay attention to. I mean, because I'm not somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know what they see and don't see.
Right.
Because even before I became a soldier, I knew that was the fabric that I was cut from.
Right.
So there are aspects of things that I do that I didn't recognize, or just because this is just who I am. Yeah. You know, but for the average, for the civilian, like, I don't know what you know or don't know or recognize or don't recognize.
Right.
Like, so how much of this information data are you taking in? How much are you paying attention to? And as our boy Jay, you know, when we go into the gym, he'll be like, man, I don't understand how you recognize so much. I'm like, man, I practice.
Yeah.
We walk in here and he's like, well, how can you tell me about this person? I just pay attention. Look at them. They got a bag on them. They're wearing this. They're wearing these types of clothes. You see them in here every single day. You know, all right, are they the type who matches their outfits? Are they well put together? Do they come in here looking sloppy or raggedy?
Right.
Right? As you see them coming in, what car are they driving? Is their car clean or not clean? These are all elements that...
And I realize that comes back to our training.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it comes back to our training, because now that you say it like that, I realize, like, some of my friends, like, oh, you notice you're very intentional or this and that. And I'm just like, no, I just keep my head on a swivel, man. Like,
literally.
That's
right.
it.
And that's tough too, because then as you start to interact with other people who are the same, it still takes you even further out of touch of reality with people who are not like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like, no, that's the same person who was over here.
Yeah.
You know, that's the type of person who, or like you said with the discernment, you start to recognize different spirits that are the same. Like, no, that person, I know what they deal with.
Been around that before.
Yeah, literally. Or, man, I just know this person ain't telling the truth.
Yeah.
Because they still got that same thing that you recognize. And you already know everything coming out of their mouth is a lie.
Yeah.
That kind of set something off in you. We recognize that. And I mean, you kind of have to, especially when, like, positive target identification is something that you have to have.
Yeah.
We bring that over into the social aspect.
Right.
Where if I'm going to bring you around my family, if I'm going to rock with you, I'm going to allow you to be around my friends, then I have to know the type of person that you are. And that's where, you know, and Jay's a bit skeptical, but all my other homies know it's like if I bring you around another friend and you know me in the type of way I am, and I know you, and you see all my friends are kind of this way, and so I introduce you to somebody else, then you know that person is solid. Right. Because I'm not going to put you, me, or us in a compromising situation. Right. So we got done. I had one guy who he had finished his OPATA course, IOP officer training. And this is when I was working at the range. He had bought his firearm for his job from me. So yada, yada, yada. Now we had a rule where if you had a rifle, we would put your optic on it. but we wouldn't put your optic on your handgun there because people complain that things didn't go right, blah, blah, blah. So I told him, look, what side of town you live on? Pull up on me at the gym. I'll come outside to the parking lot, jump in the car with you, put your red dot on, whatever. So he pulls up, we're chopping. Jay never comes and gets in the car. He's like, well, I'm not going to get in a random person's car. I'm like,
he's not someone random now.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to explain to him. I'm like, bro, like, he's literally somebody who just finished his Opata course, right? He has the same values that we have. He's wondering why you didn't get in the car. Yeah. And now he's thinking you're weird because you're acting weird over the fact that he already knew. He's like, yeah, bro, if he was with you, I knew he was good people's.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, does he carry? I'm like, yeah. He's like, does he follow all the law? I'm like, yeah. He's like, exactly. That's what I'm saying. To both of you, like, they both had the same questions after he wouldn't get in. I'm like, bro, it's all good. Like, first off, I'm not going to put you in that type of place where you're not going to be safe. Yeah. You know, like, and then he found out, I'm like, yeah, he's going to, you know, he was willing to let us come ride motorcycles with him. He said he'll help teach you. He's like, oh, really? Like, he did. I'm like, yeah, because his other friend was somebody else I sold a gun to, and she just bought a BMW, like, motorcycle. And it's like, bro, like, you got to know the type of people you rocking with in the way that they're not going to, you know, put you in those bad situations. Right. Yet, if you always find yourself in the wrong circles with the wrong friends and in the wrong situations, you probably should ask why and how you keep ending up in those situations. So true. Yeah. Yeah. Man, and I feel like even as soldiers, we recognize them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because like attracts like.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. You got the ones that slack and the ones that don't do right.
Blue Falcons and soup sandwiches, by God.
Yeah, and it's like, man, somebody's always going to be like, it's the same one, and they hang with the same people. Yeah. And it's not to say that, look, if you want to help them, that's fine. That's great. But you cannot compromise who you are and your values trying to save somebody else. And you don't need to be stuck in a relationship with somebody.
Right. That you're not supposed to be with.
Yeah, because you're trying to save them. We call them Captain Save-A-Ho. And that's what, and I mean, I can't lie, I had that for a while. Yeah. You know, or sometimes we say, oh, well, I see the good in them. You know, and you can see the good, but don't ignore all the bad. Don't ignore all the red flags, man. Whether they're yellow, orange, on the way to red, like, we have to be aware of those things, and then your friends kind of got to be able to point them out to you, or your friends got to be able to tell you, look, bro, she a little ugly. You seeing what's on the inside, but don't forget the outside too. Right. Like, I had that convo, and I've had a couple women who have friends who have kind of talked about the fact that the outside is equally as important as the inside. Oh, yeah. One's not more important than the other, right? Oh, no. Because it's like, man, all right, so I'm going to describe somebody to you, all right? So I want you to tell me if you think you would recognize her at Kroger. All right? Okay. So she's funny. Okay. All right. Really good sense of humor. She's smart. Okay. Like, but kind of a street smart point of view, not book smarts. She has a good family, so she was raised really well. So she's like super loyal. She's honest. You know.
That sounds like a good person. You know, sounds like a good person.
But you don't know nothing about her, right? Like, you cannot point her out at all. Nothing. Right? And so if you want to go identify, and I don't know if that's the MP side of me, it's like, man, if I got to go identify somebody, if I need to know who I'm looking for, man, you looking for a truck. Cool. You looking for a blue truck.
Okay.
All right. You looking for a blue Dodge Ram lifted with off-road tires. I only got 2 letters off the license plate. It was a K and a Z. Right now you're giving me things that I can go off, right? Because that's still that's what that truck is. That truck is not going to become a Ford from being a Ram. You know what I mean? And so you can change your inside more than you can change your outside. Yeah. If all you do is lie, you can start being honest. Right. But if you ugly, you ain't gonna become pretty. Unless you pray to the Lord for a different mama. Go back in time. You gotta be born again. You know?
He said born again.
But it's just the truth, you know? Like, you can't take away those aspects of the physical. Like, you have to come to terms with the fact, man, I'm short. It is what it is. Yeah. I'm not going to be tall tomorrow. No matter how much I pray for it, I'm not going to be tall tomorrow. I can be more compassionate tomorrow. I can be more caring tomorrow. I can be more patient tomorrow. I can't be 6 foot tomorrow, no matter what I do about it, right? And so those aspects, and it's cool when you're like, man, girls are like, yeah, well, I want to date a guy. You got to be at least 6 foot. Okay. All right, well, that's something that is a physical piece of their identity. It's still who they are.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not going to get shorter. You're not going to get taller. I'm not going to become white unless I do to Michael Jackson. It is what it is. Right. At the end of the day. And even if you change, you know, the skin tone, you still can't change your culture or where you were raised.
Right. And man, that makes an entirely difference in culture.
It does.
I can go to your house and it's going to be similar to the way I was raised.
Oh, for sure.
But we can't walk into Justin's mama's house and expect it's going to be the same way.
Facts. No, that's literally exactly what it is. And so there are aspects both, you know, on both sides of you have to accept who you are and what you are and how it happens. When you look at different illnesses, I mean, there's some people who have, whether you have asthma, whether you're born without an arm, whether you have to have an arm removed, whether you lost a leg overseas or lost a different, I mean, you went through an injury overseas.
Yeah.
And it changes aspects of who you are, and you have to come to terms with those changes. You have to come to terms with who you are in general. And then as changes happen, you have to understand that you don't go back to the person that you were before the injury, before the change, whether it's a mental illness or a physical illness. Like your body has to adapt, and then you have to live in a new reality and understand that everybody around you is adjusting to that as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to put yourself in a different environment.
Yeah.
You take the guy from Everybody Hates Chris.
Okay.
And I just sent Jay a reel from Everybody Hates Chris. But he was told by the director of Everybody Hates Chris when that was ending. And he was a kid. So a lot of kid actors don't end up with big roles as adults. And he was told that he would never have another big role and that Everybody Hates Chris was the end of his career.
Wow.
That's what he was told, you know? And so he had to rebrand himself and show his range as an actor. And now he's in like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's at a couple big movies. And he's really been able to, as an adult, show that he's a great actor and land these big roles. But we oftentimes get pigeonholed the same way in our lives and our relationships with our families.
Yeah.
And so when you grow and change, people don't see you different.
Right.
So I had one friend, and she had been working this job, and she's the only one with a kid at this job. Yeah, she's the one that's always forced by the manager to close when nobody else can cover.
Yeah.
And it's because she never stood up for herself.
She never says no.
Yeah, and so because the manager had always just said, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and she never spoke up for herself, she got to the point where she wanted to and started to, and the manager just kept rolling right over her.
It's not okay now. You already said okay.
Exactly.
You set the boundaries where there's no boundaries there.
Exactly.
So
now you can't enforce a boundary.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I hate to say it because you've been there 12 years. But if you want to be able to enforce a boundary, you're going to have to go to a different job. You're going to have to lay out what the terms are, and you're going to have to stick to them.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to stand on those principles, stand on those things, and defend yourself and speak up for yourself. That's going to be what you have to do. But because so many people have just determined that you're not going to stand up for yourself, nobody's allowing you to stand up for yourself anymore.
Yeah.
And so you either have to slowly start to cut people off and change your environment and put yourself in a position to be successful, because now her kid's going to school. And she's like, well, I can't, like, I've tried to ask for the schedule, and she just keeps saying, well, the perfect schedule doesn't exist.
Yeah, they're going to find every excuse now.
Exactly. Yeah, but you decided that you want to pick her up from school.
Right.
And that you need to be there. So then if that's what you're going to stand on, then you have to make that accommodation, whether it's another job. You have to determine what matters most to you.
Right.
Which do you love more? This particular job, right?
Yeah.
And the security that you have in that. And I understand that security aspect and bringing in money.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've been there for a while and you might not make as much somewhere else. But if those hours are what you want more, if picking her up from school is what you want more, or dropping her off at school is what you want more, not putting her on the bus, right? Not having to pay somebody for those extra 2 hours, normally 3 or 4 hours when she makes you work late. Like, those are things you have to balance, and those are things you have to weigh. And at some point, one has to win out.
Yeah.
And if you don't make a decision, the decision is going to be made for you.
Right.
You know, and we end up stuck in that where, okay, you think about breaking up with somebody because you know it's messing with your mental health. You know it's not good for you. You know that your family doesn't like this person, and you stick in that relationship. And you're thinking about it, and you know you should do something, but since you didn't do something, the decision to stay was made.
Yeah, you can't now. You kind of feel like you're stuck they got you back in the corner now.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know, and then they can even use that. Well, we've already been together 2 years. Well, we've been together 2.5. Well, you thought about breaking up at 1.5 years. You didn't do it then you shouldn't do it now.
You shouldn't do it now.
And you keep getting stuck with the same cycle, with the same person, and in situations where, man, 6 months in, you should have been out. A year in, you should have been out. Now you've wasted so much of your life.
Yeah.
To the point where I went on a date with somebody and you got their friends talking about how she was with the ex for too long and like this and that. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're a good man. Like we couldn't even do that with him. He had all, and I'm like, when your friends are having these conversations with your first time meeting me,
that's scary, dog.
Right. And that lets you know like everybody was telling you.
And you ain't listen.
And you refused to. And then at some point you still made the same decision. So you decided to waste 2 more years, 3 more years.
Until you hit your head hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all right, that hurt.
Yeah, because for a lot of women it takes, she was cheated on. So she went to Cuba. Came back, you cheat on her with a married woman. And that's what it took.
Bro.
For her to leave.
You could have just listened to your friends and take heartache.
Right. And it's like, man, and then that's when she finally got her head screwed on straight and said like, okay, this is what it's going to be. And I don't know if you consider that self-respect thing.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't know what's out there until you start to experience it.
Yeah.
And I know it's so easy. You start to lose hope. You start to lose faith that what you're looking for and who you want is out there, especially as you go through negative person after negative person, problem after problem.
Yeah.
And you start to lose hope, but you just can't compromise.
And you know, that seems to be a big problem with the younger generation. They've never really truly experienced a real life experience moment to where you're going to have to go through something that you experience as like a problem, you know? And it's like, all right, well, when I was growing up, everybody was on their bikes. Who was at our neighbor's house.
Yeah.
But then if we came downtown and we had to call Jimmy, well, everybody gather up some change because my mom ain't got to pay. She ain't got a phone. You know, and back in the day, single moms couldn't afford, you know, house phones.
Right.
So it's like, we got to go to the payphone.
Yeah.
You know? Well, that was a life experience that we had to figure out how we're going to get a hold of Jimmy today.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be coming to practice, but ain't nobody knows I'm not riding my bike a mile across town, dog.
Right.
You know, we got to get a hold of him to make the team. Well, let's go to the payphone. You know, we had to experience them life things where our parents were like, look, get out of the house. Don't come back in here until the lights come out.
Facts.
You know, these kids are
literally
all day.
Yeah.
And then this is giving them the answers. They don't have to put no real work in to receive the answers.
Oh my goodness. I was just talking to my brother about that literally on my way over here, where nowadays, because you get the answer so quickly, you have no drive to think. You don't want to take the time to use your own critical assessments of what's going on. And I mean, we had that with one of our clients the other day where we're sitting there playing a game and he's like, what's this game called? You know, and they're kind of messing with him. And I'm like, all right, so does this game involve strategy? I'm like, okay, well, tell me with your powers of observations. Like, I'm not making fun of you. Just tell me what you think. We'll talk through it together.
Yeah.
I will shape your thoughts and help you learn how to think and process using deductive reasoning. So, you know, he starts pointing out these different aspects. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. You know, like, but you wanted me to give you the answer.
Right.
When all of the information, the data set was right in front of you. All the intel was right in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, or even within that game, playing that game, and I know you heard me kind of get a little frustrated with one of them because she made the same mistake over and over and over in this game. And I'm like, at some point, you have to do something different.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to decide that the result that you've gotten over and over is not the same result that you want to continue to get. But if you keep doing the same thing,
you're gonna be insanity.
What else, exactly? What else is gonna happen? And it's like, all right, we understand that. It's like, okay, well, you date the same type of guys, you date the same type of girls, right? You continue to lie to the girl you're talking to, and then expect a different outcome in the relationship. You know, you continue to break boundaries, yet expect her to continue to trust you. You know, and that doesn't just mean cheating. There's several sets of boundaries that you set.
Yeah.
And those aspects, those boundaries are how your partner knows that they can confide in you, trust in you, come to you, and those levels of safety within the relationship are there.
Right.
And so as you break those and as you cross those, even those little things that even if you don't agree with it, And this is why I had a frying pan thrown in my head. All right. Because I didn't agree with the boundary. However, I said I would hold that boundary.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't agree with it.
Right.
And then when I got sick of it, I decided I wasn't going to hold said boundary.
Right.
Now, the fact that I said I was going to maintain the boundary meant that I should have maintained the boundary.
Right.
Or I should have just not been in the relationship. Right.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was something that's like, like that's just an insecurity. That's just something you need to work out. That's something you need to figure out. Like, don't bring that. It's not what I plan to have in my relationship. You know, I agreed to it.
Right.
I put my word to it.
Yeah.
So therefore, when I decide not to do it all of a sudden and she has a response, I should expect that response.
Right.
You know, should I expect a frying pan to my head?
No.
Maybe not that extreme, but that comes to where and why I would vindicate things, because it's like, well, no, I caused that because I said I was going to enforce something. And now you don't feel safe and you don't feel like I hear you. You don't feel like I see you. You don't feel like I'm going to continue to hold those things as important to me or trust you. And was it something that was a big deal to me? No.
Yeah.
Right. But for her, it was.
Right. Because it was her boundary.
Exactly. You know, and if that's what you say you're going to do, that's what you have to do. And it doesn't absolve her of throwing the hot frying pan with banana pancakes. You know, thankfully, I was watching some Muhammad Ali that week, you know, and was able to kind of weave it a bit because that could have been rough, you know.
Man.
But at the end of the day, I was never mad at her or upset with her for her response, because I was the one that didn't hold up my end of the bargain. Yeah. What I said that I would do, even though I didn't agree. And so if you don't agree, that's okay. Have that conversation up front. Don't end up a year and a half, 2 years in, and you guys have things like that you disagree on.
Yeah, it's going to have fights all the time.
If that's the case, be okay being alone a little bit longer and wait for that right person to come along.
Right.
Who enjoys life at the pace that you enjoy it, who does the things that you want to do, who goes to places that you want to go, who lives the lifestyle that you intend to live.
Yeah.
Because those are the aspects that you have to deal with when you're living with somebody, when you're married, you know, when you have kids with this person, the way they intend to raise their kid.
Yeah.
All of those things. You got to watch the people around you.
Yeah, because oh my God, dude, what the kids are going to learn.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's one thing I'm literally working on now that takes so much work is than if I'd have done it right the first time.
Yeah.
If I would have really got help for myself, seeked help, learned how to cope, I wouldn't be dealing with the struggles that I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah.
You know, and you kind of know my struggles right now where I'm at. And although it always looks gravy, there's a lot that we both deal with. Yeah. That we don't really brag about.
Right.
Talk about. You know, that goes on behind the scenes but man, if I would have done what I was supposed to do, I wouldn't have taught my kids all this toxic mess that now I'm having to reshape and reframe their mind. Yeah. And all that extra work.
It is.
To try to prove to them, look, you trust me because I'm your father, but I was wrong. Right. So what I taught you, I shouldn't have. Now, you have to believe me that we're doing the right thing here. Yeah. And that's hard.
And that's tough. It is, because those habits become a part, especially when you're at an impressionable age.
Oh, man.
Where you hold on to things.
Absorbing.
I mean, as you're hitting those middle school ages, that's where you start to shape your identity. And so it's really easy to cling on to those things. Yeah. You know, most people inherit their political views, for example. Right? Whatever your political view is, I think it's like 80% of people, they are whatever their parents were. Wow. Regardless of their lifestyle, regardless of how factors have changed, whatever it is, they learned it from their parents. And that's just an example of the many ways that
we absorb things we watch and see.
Yeah. And that's not one aspect that your parent is paying attention to usually, though. Right. Right. They're talking about their beliefs. They're saying, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, blah, blah, blah. They're hearing things and they're going to then shape their future off of whatever it is you saw or said. Yeah. That may have been situational.
It's important as a man, you know what spirits are coming into your house. Yeah. Because although we can invite people in and we can be friendly and this and that. If I don't learn how to receive my discernment, and I'm letting somebody come in with all kinds of spirits into my home, they can leave that right here with my kids, man.
They really can. It's interesting because I don't know that they're ready for that conversation, because it's easy to ignore the spiritual realities.
Yeah.
Because ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Yet on the other hand, if you're real quick to, man, well, these crystals will give me this energy and this and that. And it's like, okay, so you want to accept the good stuff. You want to think what you think is good.
Right.
But when it comes to the real life hardcore things that matter, that truly make a difference, that influence you, that influence those around you. And it's just interesting to me because evil is so apparent.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how you can see the evil that goes on nowadays and not associate it with the evil spirits that are behind it. So I don't see how you can deny those aspects of reality when we literally witness it on a daily basis.
Daily basis, bro.
And it's so sad. And there were some movies that started to deal with it. I know nothing is black and white, right? There's never an extreme that you can go to that's healthy, right? And I know I've said that a lot, and I'm trying to drill that into people's minds. When it comes to assuming that everything in regards to mental health is a spirit or a demon or something on that line, gets dangerous.
Yeah.
But then also assuming that it's all science and there's never anything spiritual is also equally as dangerous. Okay? So there is no simple, easy answer. And that's tough because, and I know this, I'm not trying to get political with it, but the reason why there's two choices for everything is so that we can be divided.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Coke or Pepsi, right? It's Leo Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, right? It's freaking Edward or whoever Jacob is. Oh yeah, Jacob from Twilight. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything is one or the other. And
Right.
because it's one or the other, you have a polarity which allows you to identify with the other people who believe the same things.
Yeah.
So it gives you this false sense of inclusion when really, as you dig into it, there's so many different reasons behind why you chose that you never talk about.
Right.
And there's so many things on the way in between those that you never talk about.
Yeah.
And so there are a couple movies. One is Nefarious. So Nefarious is a really good movie. It is from the perspective of this guy who's on death row.
Okay.
And this guy on death row is controlled by a demon. And this lawyer comes in, and the lawyer has to determine whether this guy is mentally sane. And if he is mentally sane, then he can be executed. But if he's not mentally sane, then he cannot be executed. All right. And so you get a viewpoint from that of a demon and how they gain access and influence to your life in the ways that they start to control you.
Yeah.
You know, and the people around you. And then all of a sudden it ends up at this point where you don't even realize that you aren't the one in control.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really good one. The other movie it's not Splice. Oh my goodness. It's the guy. He has the different personalities.
Yo, I was just gonna ask you, but yes, with the car crash, they go into the hotel. That one where he's got like 3 different personalities.
Maybe go into it a little bit more.
So they there's this man and wife. They get like I don't remember if it's a car crash or something. They're out in the middle of nowhere, but then they find help to get to this motel, and then there's 3 different versions of what's going
Me,
on.
Myself, and Irene? Is that one? No. Okay, that sounds like so similar to that.
No, this is a serious. It's actually a really serious movie.
Okay,
and I can't think of the name of it.
Man.
But he's a bald guy. He plays as the main actor. There's 3 different versions of what he's telling, of what's being told.
Okay.
At the end of the story, there's only one person telling the whole story. The problem was he was schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And so he had 3 different 3 different views from his brain.
Yeah.
And it was trippy because I thought when I was watching the movie, I thought I was seeing 3 different people's perspectives.
Yeah.
The whole time, it's only one man.
Yeah.
He's got schizophrenia.
That's insane. So schizophrenia is one of the main ones that is in that topic of discussion between people who are on that spiritual side and people who are on the science side.
Yeah, because I wonder that. I was going to ask you that. Do you feel this is a hard one. You can cut this out if you want. But do you feel schizophrenia is a spiritual warfare? Like maybe a dealing with spirits or is it scientific, just a mental?
I personally 1000% believe schizophrenia in particular is a spiritual attack.
I believe the same thing.
That is oftentimes channeled or allowed through influences. So how demons operate is more come after one takes root.
Okay? That makes sense.
So it's kind of like, if you're having a house party, you invite your friends over.
Inviting everybody.
And that's what happens. And so you'll see somebody, and they call them like gateway drugs, for example. Okay. And so you'll start with one, and the next thing you know, everything else kind of opens up. And that's kind of how they operate the same way. And so schizophrenia oftentimes will make its way into your life through drug use.
Yeah.
And so they want to say that there's a link between the drug itself and this, diagnosis, not realizing that behind all of those are different levels of spiritual influences that you've allowed into your life. And after losing control, it amalgamates, until you get to this point where someone, an entity as strong as schizophrenia, is able to kind of take root and honestly destroy your life at that point.
Yeah.
Because you rarely ever see anybody come back from schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, those who take medicine for it never actually feel better from it. Okay, so when you have other diagnoses and it's like, okay, well, you give them medicine and they're able to respond, that's because it was a chemical imbalance. It was something that could be corrected with it.
Yeah.
However, the medicine is really just masking what it is. And because that's messing with your brain chemistry, it's throwing off that spirit's ability to interfere with you, but it's not removing them.
Right.
And so you're honestly in even more anguish because of that medicine.
Being tormented.
Literally, between that and the spirits, and you're not able to kind of process. And one good example was the movie Smile.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, where you have this spirit that's transferred from person to person, and that person can see it. However, everyone that they're interacting with thinks that something's wrong with them mentally.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, you're going through this, you're going through that. It's a mental health problem. Go see the doctor, go see the therapist, go see this. And they're trying to explain to you what's really going on, and nobody's believing them because we've gone so far to that science-based understanding of everything that we view nothing at all as spiritual. And it's like, yes, there are significant cases where it is a mental health thing.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times it is trauma from the past. It's things that we allowed to happen in our lives, or things that we didn't allow, things that happened to us in our lives, different things that we've witnessed growing up. I saw a study that shows that growing up in the hood, the sample size of teenagers, young adults that they sampled had similar levels of PTSD as soldiers coming back from overseas.
Dang.
So if you lost a family member, sibling, or parent, or one of them went to jail for a violent crime, that you had the same PTSD levels as a soldier coming back from combat.
Bro.
And I thought that was insane.
That is insane.
But that's not diagnosed that way. And so you have these kids, these teenagers, these young adults growing up in these situations, and it's because that is such an unnatural and unhealthy environment to grow up in.
Yeah.
But because it's so normalized that they're not getting a diagnosis for it. So they're acting out, they're doing this, they don't know how to behave, they don't know how to interact in real society.
Inside, they're just angry.
Literally.
They're just angry.
And they've never had somebody. Okay, those are situations where, you have a plethora of things that are either science-based, mental health-based, emotionally based, socially based, like literally psychologically based. And those things are legitimate. And then you have instances where we are being attacked and controlled by unclean spirits or evil spirits, and we refuse to accept it or see it. So they're just able to do whatever they want with us in our lives.
Wow.
Because we're refusing to fight them. We're refusing to stand up for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're refusing to even, just because you don't believe something exists, doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Mean it doesn't exist, yeah.
Like, but that's how they get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. You don't believe in me? All right, I'll ruin your life, and all you'll do is continue to blame everything but what's the real source, you know? And as long as you're not turning to God, that's all they care about.
That's all they care about.
If you don't turn to God,
they
cool.
won.
Yeah. That's all they, just enough
to
get you to not believe.
Yeah. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
You know, man, I'm so thankful that you guys, I didn't even do an intro for you guys. We got right into it. We made it happen. Here we are on this episode of Classic Man, talking about so many aspects of life that we all need to hear, to recognize, to slow down, and to truly use in order to make ourselves better. Listen, we've made mistakes. We've done things that you can learn from. We've interacted with people and we have stories and things that can make your pathway through life just a little bit easier. So I'm glad that you've gone through the process of listening, that you want to do something better with yourself, that you want to do something different in your life, for your kids' lives, for those around you. So listen, I need you to like, comment, subscribe, share, send this to somebody, share it, because this message, the things that we're trying to do, is absolutely crucial to those around us being better people as well. All right. I want to be somebody that you feel like you can trust, that you can lean on, that you can turn into. I want that same thing for you. And I know that you want to be able to lean on those close to you. All right. So let's do this together. Let's reach out to somebody, make sure that they are hearing this message. And let's take a step this week in the right direction to be better, to be a better person, to be somebody who's a better communicator, to be a better partner, to be a better son, daughter, brother, sister, whatever it is. Let's take that step together and build a community where all of us feel safe and comfortable opening up about the things that we have going on and allowing others to help us in those same areas. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Man.
This episode didn't challenge your thinking and resonate with you, you just weren't really listening. I'm Justin Kashmirchek, founder of the EGT Universe, and it's been a pleasure being here with you on this journey. If you know someone who's starting a business, rebuilding their brand, or just needs a serious digital upgrade, hit me up. I'm at Jump King on Instagram, or head over to egtuniverse.com. That's egtuniverse.com, and drop me a line. Also, show some love to Carter and the crew behind Classic Man. Head over to classicmanpodcast.com for all the guest info, all the official links, and bonus content. Also, chip in. Buy me a cup of coffee. Let's be real. If we as men don't show up together, don't band together, we can't grow together. So check back here every week, same time, you're on your favorite podcast platform for the most up-to-date content. Don't get caught slipping. Stay connected. We'll see you right here, Classic Man Podcast, next time.